Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the campus conversation of the American University in Cairo. Today is Thursday, the 19th of August, 2021. My name is Amina El-Binderi, and I'm the chair of the Department of Arab and Islamic Civilizations here at AUC, and I'm quite happy and honored to be moderating the event this afternoon. Our call will last for 1 hour. We have a number of panelists today. I will begin by introducing each of them. I will then call on them to make some opening remarks and comments to the community, and then we will open the floor for discussion. You may pose your questions in either of two ways. You can either type your question in the Q&A box or raise your hand and ask to ask your question live into the call. This afternoon, we have with us on our panel the Provost, Dr. Ihab Abdulrahman, Vice President Shireen Shaker, Vice President Dina Abou Futuh, Vice President Dr. Dina Borai, and Associate Senior Vice President Sarah Rifat, and the University Counselor Dr. Ashraf Hatem. I will begin by asking the Provost, Dr. Ihab Abdulrahman, to make some opening remarks. I'm sure all of us are excited and also anticipating the change and the transition as we return fully face-to-face to campus early September. Dr. Abdulrahman, please proceed.
Yeah, it's very important that I unmute myself. Thank you, Dr. Amina. Thank you very much. And I would like to welcome my colleagues on the screen. And I would like to thank them for participating today in today's campus conversation and for their hard work to prepare the campus for the fall 2021. Everyone on the screen has been working really hard to open the campus, and there are so many behind the scene who will never appear on that screen are also working very hard to open the campus. The amount of details that we are looking at are really overwhelming, but I'm really excited. I'm really optimistic about opening the campus and our plans to reopen the campus. For that, I would like to thank all faculty, staff, administrators who have been working around the clock to make the campus ready for fall 2021. As we all know, starting next week, the orientation will start, and we are very excited to welcome people on our campus. I'm also pleased to report that more than half of our people now have access to campus. And we will continue, that number will continue to rise as we have already again started vaccination on our campus today. The Ministry of Health are on campus today vaccinating our people, and I have seen people coming to take the vaccine. And please, if you did not register on the governmental site or through EUC to get the vaccine, please do so, because that window is for only less than a week or a week. So we want to make sure that actually you get the vaccine if you want to get the vaccine. EUC have been facilitating that, and we are not sure if there will be another window of vaccination available for us or not. So please make sure that you register to get the vaccine. For members of our community, faculty, staff, or students who are not vaccinated and granted access to campus, we have put in place weekly mandatory testing program that will allow us to enhance the safety measures for all present on campus. I'll ask my colleagues on the screen to elaborate further on the testing program. I'm pretty sure that VP Shireen Shaker will talk to us about the testing program that we are working on. On the academic planning, now we have planned for classes to run. All of our classes will be face-to-face. Very few classes will have dual delivery mode. That means part of the students, half of the students will be with the faculty in a class. The other half will be on campus, either in another classroom or anywhere else on campus, attending the class online. Those are very few classes, large classes that we cannot find big classroom to accommodate them. We are mandating social distancing inside the classroom of 1.5 meters. And we will ask everyone to wear a mask while they are on campus. VP Shireen Shaker also will publish the guidelines to reopen the campus very soon, and it has all the details about the safety measures that we will put in place to ensure the safety of all people who will be present on campus. Dr. Amina, thank you so much, and back to you. I'm happy to answer questions later.
Thank you, Dr. Abdulrahman. I think we'll turn to University Counselor Dr. Ashraf Hatem. I'm sure everybody is interested in an update on the general status of the pandemic nationally in Egypt and how we as AUC community fit into this new scene. Of course, everybody is wondering about the Delta variant. Has it affected us? Will it affect us? What are we going to do during the fourth wave? How does this affect our return to campus and so on? Dr. Hatem.
Thank you, Dr. Amina. Good afternoon, everybody. I think the fourth wave will come sooner or later. It will come, but we must be ready for that. In Egypt, we had a stagnant period with very few cases for 1.5 to 2 months, and then during the last 2 weeks, we had the cases. Fresh new cases have started to rise. There are still few cases, but they are rising. They are mild, but they are rising. So the COVID-19 is there. So we are expecting that by the end of September, early October, we will have the fourth wave. The only way to combat it and to live with it, as all the world, is by vaccination. The government of Egypt, the Supreme Council of Universities, and the Cabinet of Egypt have mandated that for all constituents of higher education in Egypt, staff, faculty, and students above the age of 18, to be mandatory vaccinated before the beginning of the semester, which will begin in the second week of October. So they will start vaccinating the 3.5 million individuals, staff, faculty, and students for public and private universities starting from the 1st of September until October. Also for the pre-university level, all the staff working and anyone who is above the age of 18 also will be, we are speaking about also about 3.5 also million individuals will be also vaccinated before the beginning of the semester. As for the Delta variant, it is coming. Why it is coming? Because it is there in 160 countries all over the world. It is the COVID, the coronavirus, is a respiratory virus which mutates every day. So as it will come, the Delta and the Delta Plus, and so it is actually, if it is not announced yet that it is present in the community, it will come sooner or later. But it is up till now, all the vaccines available is effective against the Delta and the Delta Plus. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hatem. And as you've mentioned, of course, the Delta variant and the fourth wave are going to be concerns. I will then turn to Vice President Shireen Shaker, if you can update us on the logistics and the preparation on campus in order to best mitigate the contagion and to safeguard the health and safety of all members of the community. I'm sure it's been a nightmare organizing and scheduling the vaccination drive, but also getting campus into shape for the return fully face-to-face. Please update us on that.
Thank you, Dr. Amina. I will gladly do that. But before I get into this point, building on what Dr. Provost Abdulrahman has just mentioned about the vaccinations and that it is a limited window, please do register on the AUC site. And after you've taken the first dose, please go ahead and upload the vaccination status of the first dose. That is enough to grant you access to campus. So this is a very important step, not just to take to register on the MOH site, then register on the AUC site, take the vaccine, then please do upload your status so that the access is affected and you're granted access to campus. In terms of campus preparations, there's been a whole lot of very good work that's been happening on campus. We've got all of our operations teams, our maintenance teams, our design and projects teams, our signage teams, all the teams are really literally all mobilized to get the campus back in shape. We've got the health and safety teams as well. So everybody's working really hard to get the campus back in tip-top shape for a good return and for health, for a really healthy return, and that will be safe to all the community without putting people in danger of getting the contagion. We are, of course, we're still enforcing social distancing. Masking will be required. Classrooms are all nicely set up with the correct social distancing of 1.5 meters. And we are currently now, we're also delivering those dual delivery classrooms. We have a few outdoor areas that are set up also for informal discussions and informal classrooms. We're doing a whole lot of work on campus to really get it in shape, and with a lot of COVID-19 focus. These are not the typical preparations that we do every year. There's a lot of work over and above the normal setup that is being done to really, cope with the existing challenges, and to really equip faculty and students to have to continue their good education and teaching and learning process. In terms of campus access systems, so everybody's still required to do the daily health check in the morning and either get a green face or a red face. With a green face, you're admitted to campus. This is all linked to the access control system. But on top of that, there is also an addition to the system where it's linked now to the vaccine upload system. So once you're vaccinated, you get a green thumbs up. So that's a new symbol that will be below the red face and the green face. And if you are no symptoms, you're fine to access campus, and you're vaccinated, even if it's 1 dose, you are then eligible to ride on the AUC buses. There are also some facilities that will be restricted to vaccinated people only, like the sports facilities. And so that will be an important additional check. So please don't forget to still continue doing the online check in the morning. For the testing program that Provost Abdulrahman has mentioned in his speech, these are all measures that we're taking and we're putting in place so that we ensure the safety of the community, and testing is one of them. So if anyone cannot get vaccinated for any reason, or does not have the opportunity, or anything prevents that person from being vaccinated, then there will be a mandatory requirement of having a weekly antigen test. The antigen is a rapid test. The results come out in 15 to 20 minutes. It's also based on a swab. And so once the result comes out negative, then it's also linked to access control. You'll be eligible to access campus for another week up until the day of your next test. This is also very important to ensure that you're either vaccinated, even if 1 dose, until your second dose comes, or you will need to go to the weekly appointments of the antigen testing. That will be paid by whoever's taking the test. We're still trying to get to negotiate a good deal with our testing partners, and we'll be announcing further details on this program throughout next week. We're also working now to publish the familiar now campus guidelines that's been put in place since COVID-19 started, and we'll be in a position to publish that first half of next week. That will have all the details and all the facilities on campus. We're opening up all the food outlets. We're opening up printing operations. So the campus will be alive and will be functioning in a safe way. Of course, that ensures that we not only open, but do remain open. And we really ask that everybody does abide by those safety measures. It's very important. We're going back full campus, full face-to-face classes. So the presence on campus is going to be high, and it will be really very important that everybody wears their mask, maintains their masks in classes, in transport, in buses. It'll be very, very important to practice all these good safety measures. We'll be having sanitizers across campus, outside the classrooms. So everything will be in place to receive our students. We're very excited. We're extremely excited that this semester is going to be a full one, and no longer hybrid, no longer low density. So it is really a very exciting semester to look forward to. We wish everybody a safe comeback, and please don't forget to complete vaccinations, upload your certificates so that your access is granted, and we can welcome you back to campus. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vice President Shaker. Can we please just recap the general instructions that you would like us all to abide by? So everybody should get vaccinated. Everybody should upload proof of their vaccination. Regardless of that, we should receive an email saying that we are granted access to campus. Regardless of whether we are granted access to campus or not, we must have a mandatory self-check every day. We must fill in the check-in every day, even if we have received the email that says you are granted access to campus, you have finalized your vaccination. Correct?
Correct, and I just want to explain why this last point. It's because you can still develop symptoms, and there is still a probability that even a fully vaccinated or a partially vaccinated person still gets the virus. So the health check system is still mandatory, and yes, we still need to do it online every morning. On top of that is the vaccination status that's been added, and that will pull out from the system, from the vaccination system. This is not self-reported, so you don't self-report if you've vaccinated or not. This pulls out of the system where you've uploaded the vaccination data, correct.
So if you have received your vaccination on campus, this is not automatically registered at AUC. You have to—
No, you have to upload. You have to upload the certificate, exactly, and that's what will affect the access control system.
And so, how is this reported into the bus system? Is this automatically reported onto your ID and you are granted access to the bus system? Or are we using the mandatory daily self-check to gain access to the buses?
And let me explain how this one happens. You still have to run the health check system, the red face and the green face. You will get a new symbol under it where a thumbs up, a green thumbs up, means that you've been vaccinated. And this will pull from the vaccine tool. So you still have to run the self-check system. You need to show the screen to the mobile phone to the driver that has the thumbs up, and the driver will be allowing the fully vaccinated people on the bus. So yes, it is based on the system, which needs to run every day, but is not self-reported. This piece is not self-reported. This pulls from the vaccine upload system. So that's
what about the weekly antigen tests for those who will not have received their vaccination? Will they also need to upload proof of the antigen test, or is this going to be automatically reported onto the system?
No, this will be automatically reported onto the system. So if you've gone and you've done your test and the test is negative, meaning you're fine, then you'll be granted automatically another week of access to campus. And nothing is needed from the individual side on that one. This will be a fully automated system between the testing partner, the clinic, and the access control. Everybody's talking to each other system-wise. So this will all be in place, and no one has to do anything for the antigen test other than show up on time. And if you're eligible to pay, this will be handled automatically also through our normal AUC systems.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm sure we're going to have questions.
It's very complicated, but I also want to point out that we're comparing to universities in Egypt. We're really going all the way and doing the best we can do, whether we're talking systems-wise or access control or vaccinations or testing. So all these things in place, are really make us stand out. And I do believe that we are number one in the country when it comes to really ensuring that we've done all we can to ensure a safe campus and a safe community.
Thank you very much. I'm sure we're going to have other questions as we open the floor for more and for discussions. I will turn to Vice President Dina Borai, if you can also update us on changes to student life and what our continuing and incoming students can expect as we return fully to campus.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amina. And I want to echo what VP Shireen Sheikh said. My team and I in student life, we were equally excited at the fact that we're going to have students back on the ground again. It's been a very empty campus, and a campus without students has been rather lonely for us all. We are ready, and we've been working hard in preparation for, first of all, the new students to come, to welcome them with the FYP orientation. And we're very much looking forward to that on the 31st of August. That's when they start coming, the students. And then when our students come back after quite a time of not being on campus, we know that everybody's eager, but if students have any issues and need some help, our wonderful Center for Student Wellbeing is ready with counselors who would love to talk to students if they need any kind of support. And we also, part of the Center for Student Wellbeing, what we do is that we'll be offering workshops and webinars about health and well-being and how to cope with our interesting life, our new normal life within COVID on the ground. And at the same time, I wanted to remind you all that we have a very, very nice app called AUC Campus Well, which has lots of resources and tips for well-being, and students those who have the app find it very, very useful. Jumping to our students who are living with us in the student residences and the student dorms. Again, we are ready, waiting for students to come, and the first check-in is on Thursday, next Thursday, inshallah, August 26th. And as usual, students who will be checking in, we will be pre-testing to make sure everybody's fine. Everyone who checks in will be tested. And for the unvaccinated students, those who are medically exempt and below 18, we have assigned a unit, separate unit from those who are vaccinated, just to make sure that we are all safe. And again, we have all the safety precautions where our common lounges, the common spaces, the labs, the computer labs, we're closing them just in anticipation, as Dr. Ashraf, our counselor, is saying, we are expecting the wave, but we don't want to preempt any problems. So we're keeping them closed for now and monitoring the situation within the dorms to make sure that we don't have any outbreaks. As for athletics, we're also being very careful. We are opening, of course, the outdoor facilities for everyone. Everyone has access to those. And those who want to use the gym and the swimming pool, again, are welcome, but we want to monitor or let's say, control the number of people who are using these athletics facilities at any one point in time. So we have a booking system on AUC Connect. Anyone, faculty, staff, students can book 75-minute slots for this pool or for the gym. And then, of course, all of these details, as we have mentioned, are in the return to campus guidelines, and everything is very, very clearly set out if you want to access these facilities. And finally, I want to talk about student events, which is the whole heart of student life in terms of what the student government, the Student Union Senate and Court, and the student organizations, student events. We have now we've set up a system where there are approval processes. It's not about stopping or minimizing events, it's making sure that we're all safe. And once again, everything is clear in the guidelines, and we have a process for handling these. And once again, my team and I are looking forward to meeting and greeting every one of you back to campus, and looking forward to talking to you as all of, inshallah.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Borai. I will now turn to Senior Associate Vice President for Human Resources, Sarah Rifat. I'm sure you're receiving all sorts of questions and would like to update us on the return to campus from the administrative and staff side.
Thank you, Dr. Amina. I would like first to echo my colleagues and thank our staff that are really working very hard behind the scenes to support opening the campus in the fall. There are a lot of activities going on the ground physically on campus now, preparing our campus to fully operate in the fall. And I'm also really excited to have staff back to the campus. So as we are opening the campus on the fall, staff are expected to be fully physically operating in campus. There are some cases that we need to look in and address in terms of HR, because we received the question of the work remote guidelines, if we are allowing this to staff or not. I would like to indicate that we have a policy for work remote guidelines for years now to address ad hoc and specific cases. This policy is on the HR website, and we have a very long list of Q&A to address all staff concerns about this. We are also working on arranging awareness sessions starting 29th of August to staff to come and ask questions, and we help them and support them if we have a specific case that they need help in. So we are equipping the HR for this. And I'm really encouraging staff to pass by our offices. We are physically present to come and ask any questions they would like to know about, or queries about this policy. I encourage also staff, if they are not registered, to please register to the vaccine, because this will be helping all staff to stay safe. And as I indicated, I'm really excited for staff to come back to campus.
Thank you very much. I'll start by taking some of the questions from the Q&A boxes. And as I would like to remind you all, you can write your questions in the Q&A box or raise your hand and request to ask your question live. Now, a number of questions really have to do with academic regulations. And I turn to the Provost, Dr. Ihab Abdulrahman. There are a number of questions that seem to be coming from students and that deal with the issue of changing academic regulations. For example, are we starting classes on time? Is the attendance, the regular attendance policy going to be in place? Are we changing dates of drop and add? How are we dealing with incoming students? Are there new, for example, minimum requirements for admission of new Thanawiyya Amma students? That is the situation of the pandemic affecting any of our regular academic policies so far?
Okay, that's a long list of questions, Dr. Amina. Let us start with the last one. Because of the Thanawiyya Amma results this year, and the grades are not as we used to see last years, and I really appraise Dr. Tariq Shawqi for doing this. This is back to the real Thanawiyya Amma. This is a competition between the students. We admit the highest caliber students to EUC. So if the highest caliber receive more than 90%, they will be admitted. They will receive more than 80%, they will be admitted. So again, this is a competition for the students. The admission office is looking into that matter as we speak now. And if you have a particular case, please contact the admission office, and I send it in a couple of messages here, and they will be answered to they will be able to answer your questions in more details. But generally, the common answer is yes, the threshold for admission for Thanawiyya Amma changes based on the grades of the Thanawiyya Amma and the students who apply to us. That's one. Drop and add, so far, since we are starting the semester as a normal semester, the drop and add period will not change. That's also subject to review if the situation change. I don't expect the situation to change between now and the start of the semester, but if we need to adjust the drop and add period, we will let you know ahead of time. What are the other questions, Dr. Amina? I'm sorry.
Are we starting classes on time on 5 September, or is there a change to the semester?
We are starting the classes on September 5 as planned. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all on campus. This is really exciting for all of us. Absence policy, we will apply the normal absence policy. Of course, if you are sick for one reason or another and you're away from the class, then also the absence policy address those matters. However, we will ask faculty also to show understanding and accommodation for our students during this unusual circumstances.
Thank you. As expected, there are a number of questions that have to do with the logistics of reporting vaccination and so on. So I will turn back to Vice President Shaker, please. We have a number of questions on the Q&A. For example, I'll start with this. Are students who are under the age of 18 automatically exempted from the vaccine, or do they have to go through, apply for exemption and receive a particular email or a particular vaccine status? And I will add here, will they need to do the weekly antigen test?
Okay, there's two parts to this question. They are automatically exempted, so they will be able to access campus. However, they still need to do the weekly antigen test. So they don't need to apply for the exemption. This is automatically pulled from the university system, but they still need to go in on their weekly antigen test, and they will be sent the very first message that they need to go the first week of classes, and after that, they need to go weekly. This will still be applied to the under 18s, yes.
Okay. There are also a number of questions about tracking cases. So Kim Fox has a question. Does AUC still track the COVID-19 cases through the dashboard?
Yes, very much so. The dashboard is still in operation, and and it's on the website, and we will continue to track it. It gives us a very good feeling of how the COVID cases nationally and within AUC are developing. So this is a tool that will definitely stay along with us.
There's another question that maybe either you or the provost can answer from Hanan Sabra. What are the procedures in case a COVID case is identified in a class? Would this class shift to online for a period of time? Does it make a difference whether, this is my addition, whether the case is for a faculty member or for a student? How are we dealing with COVID cases in classes?
Dr. Ihab, I can take the medical part of it and I'll pass you the educational part of it. So if there's a COVID case in a class, of course the faculty and the contacts will all be identified. They will be undergoing an antigen test, and if the test is positive, of course they will need to isolate for a period of 7 days. If the result is negative, then they will be allowed to resume their classes after that. The class itself, the physical space, will be closed for a period of 24 hours where it is ventilated, disinfected, and cleaned very thoroughly, a deep cleaning, and then it will be open only after 24 hours, and the other classes will have to meet elsewhere or be suspended up until that 24-hour period. That's as far as the cases are handled, as well as the space. Of course, the COVID case itself then will be followed up by the clinic and the normal process of a COVID-19 case. But as well as that, will be, of course, tracking all the tracing the contacts.
And in this hypothetical situation, will the university be funding the antigen tests?
Of course. When there's a contact case or an actual case, all the testing is covered by AUC Collect.
And the class will shift online until all people in class, faculty and students, are confirmed negative for COVID, and they can come back to campus.
Okay. Very good. Now, in terms of social distancing, both in classes and on the buses, let me start with in class. Will professors be able to decide whether they want to wear a mask or a shield? This is a question that we have in the Q&A. Is there a choice? Do students have a choice whether to wear a mask or a face shield? Can professors enforce the wearing masks inside classrooms? Maybe the provost would like to take this one.
Sure. This is one of the issue also that we ask. I think it's going to be in the guidelines to reopen the campus. Students and faculty will be asked to wear masks inside the classroom. The faculty should enforce and actually wearing the mask in the classroom. This is the authority of the faculty in the classroom.
But do they have a choice to use a face shield rather than a mask, so that
from the medical point of view, Shireen, I'm not sure if we recommend face masks or shield.
No, we do recommend face masks. That is the right level of protection. So we do require face masks and not face shields. If you want to wear both, that's a personal choice. I mean, some people put the shield over the mask, but the mask is what is required. And Dr. Hatem can confirm that.
Yes, the face mask is the medical thing, but some individuals want to wear a face shield over the mask. This is an extra protection. It's not something which is recommended, but they can do it. But for a professor who is doing a lecture, if he has a face mask and the face shield, I don't know if he will be heard or not, yeah. But it is only the mask which is medically needed.
Okay, what about precautions on the buses? Will there be social distancing enforced on the buses? Will the wearing of masks be enforced on the buses? Will people who have been given an exemption from vaccination or who are under 18 be allowed on the buses?
Okay, so the buses, the answer is no. Only vaccinated people can ride the bus, which means that if you're under 18 or if you have medical exemption, you cannot be riding the AUC bus. And the reason for that is that it is not possible to do social distancing in the buses, and that's why we're enforcing two measures: full vaccination, I mean as in 100% of the people, even if you're one dose, and masking throughout the journey of the bus. These are the two measures that can be enforced and that we will enforce, but we cannot do social distancing. We've also, to solve for that problem, we've negotiated a very good deal with Swivel for all the routes they have in town, not just the equivalent to AUC routes, but for any route with the AUC ID. As of September 1, there are packages offered with very good discounts, ranging between 45 to 55% discount, with a certain number of rides that you can book with Swivel, and that will be up until the point where people are able to be vaccinated and then enrolled again in the transportation system.
So what if somebody is uncomfortable? What if somebody is vaccinated but is uncomfortable about sitting very close to somebody on the bus, or is immunocompromised and so wants to take extra precautions? Can they ask to please keep the seat next to them empty? Is this something that the guidelines would allow?
I mean, it won't always be possible from a space standpoint. When and where it's possible, of course, I mean, the person can try and leave a vacant seat empty, but in terms of the capacity of the buses, we cannot design it as such. So it can be on on an ad hoc need basis, but it won't be enforceable on. I mean, if all the bus riders decide to do that, there won't be space on the bus. So it's not something that is doable across all. But if a particular person wants to try to keep his distance, as long as the bus capacity allows for that, there's nothing to stop that.
Okay, so it really has to be an informal arrangement among ourselves that we arrange for.
Correct.
Have there been any changes to our air conditioning system? This is one of the questions we have in the Q&A,
yes,
to allow for better safety and filtration of the air.
Yeah, I can go ahead on that one. Yes, we are currently now in the process of adjusting all the classrooms and closed spaces on campus, so that there is a 40% fresh air intake, and that's a very good percentage, in line with global standards, to account for the fact that the virus is known, or at least research indicates that it's highly transmittable via air conditioning systems and ducting, etc. So yes, we are enforcing that, and we're applying that all over campus.
Okay, I don't know whether you can answer questions on the daycare, or if Sarah would answer these questions. Is the daycare opening? Will staff members be allowed to bring in young children like 3 years old onto campus? Will they be allowed to take them on the bus, keeping into consideration that 3-year-olds or toddlers will not be vaccinated, so will be under the age of 18. Will staff or faculty be allowed to bring in young children onto campus on the bus, and what's happening with daycare?
Okay, I'll take this. Now, in terms of the daycare in campus, we are working on finalizing the license, really working hard to try to open the daycare with the start of the fall semester. If this is not the case for any reason, we already have the pay and claim system policy in HR for a long time, that or our female community can be applying for this benefit as well. So this is the question about the daycare. Bringing toddlers to campus, I think it will fall within the campus access restrictions, because they are not vaccinated, and we really care about their safety and security. So if they are not allowed to enter campus, so they will not be allowed to enter campus.
So if they are accepted into the daycare, they go directly into the daycare,
From the daycare gate.
But they cannot use the campus or the buses. Okay, we also have a question about library operation. Are there going to be changes to the hours of the library? Will we return to 24 hours operation? You remember, before the pandemic, we had reached this wonderful situation of a library operating 24 hours. Are there changes to the way in which the study rooms in the library are going to be operated? I think currently they were on an advanced booking basis. Maybe Vice President Shekhar or the Provost, as you wish.
Okay, I can answer that. I can take that, Dr. Amina. Yeah, the library will be operating, the operating hours of the library will be as the pandemic starts. So we will go back to normal operating hours. However, the number of people allowed to the library will be limited to the physical spaces allowed. We have to ensure the physical distancing inside the library. So the number of students, faculty, and staff who will be inside the library will not be as we used to see in the past. They will be much less.
Okay. Now, is there a deadline to submit vaccination, proof of vaccination, especially for students?
September 4th.
So September 4th, the day before classes begin, is the deadline to submit proof of vaccination or to apply for an exemption.
Yes.
Now, are we going to be required to wear masks inside offices?
If you have people with you in the office, yes, you will be required to wear masks. Shireen, I'm sorry, I'm stepping into your domain now. So would you like to answer that, Shireen?
Go ahead. No, you've answered correctly. I mean, if you're working alone in your office, obviously you don't need to keep your mask on. But if there are people in proximity, then we do need to step up the safety measures and do maintain the masks on. Dr. Ihab, I will just, if I can just say that to upload the proof of vaccine, the vaccination campaign will be ending by end of August, beginning of September. So as soon as we end, please upload to give just time for the approval process. So if we can stick to a deadline of September 1st or 2nd latest, that would be great for the proof of vaccinations.
And let me also add, Shireen, really availing the vaccine on our campus. It took a lot of effort from many people, and I'm encouraging the community to use this opportunity because we don't know if it's going to come our way again or not. We have enough vaccines on campus for all of our community, and even for the people who did not register to take the vaccine yet. So please use that opportunity to get vaccinated because we really do not guarantee and we cannot guarantee that we will be able to avail the vaccine again on campus.
Now, is this open also to exchange and international students?
Yes, yes.
So international students can get vaccinated at AUC?
Yes.
Okay, what about international students, faculty, staff who have received their vaccination abroad, who were away in the summer and got vaccination in places other than Egypt? Is the proof of their vaccination acceptable?
Yes.
So they are to also upload their proof of vaccination through the same system, and this also should be accepted.
Correct.
Absolutely, yes, of course.
Okay. Now, what about people who, I mean, this is a recurring issue. We hear it all the time and it comes up on the Q&A. People who have registered through the Ministry of Health, who have registered through the AUC system, and who have not received any information or confirmation or any date. Are there going to be dates for walk-ins, for example, where anybody who has not received an appointment will be allowed to walk in? What are we going to do if we still have members of the community who have registered through the two systems and by September 4th have not received a date for their vaccination? What are they supposed to do?
Shireen, can I answer that?
Go ahead.
Dr. Amina, we are availing doses of vaccines on campus for all of our people, even for the people who did not register on EAC system yet. So if you did not register at the UC system, please register now so you can get the vaccine. If you have registered already on the Ministry of Health system and the EUC system, you will be receiving a message very soon to get the vaccine. In order to make sure that people do not wait long to get the vaccine, we actually send messages to a specific group of people to come in a particular date so we can have a well-organized process. Shireen, would you like to add anything?
I just want to add that most people have not yet received their emails, so no need to worry or panic. We only started sending them yesterday because today was the first day of the vaccines. So throughout next week, people will be getting emails from the clinic indicating the day they need to come, and they need to stick to the date to come because that's when their names will be listed and they'll be eligible for the vaccine. So no walk-ins, but please stick to the date, and you will getting an email any of the 4 days of the coming week. So please.
Is there any way for people to confirm that their name has indeed been registered on the AUC system? Is there an email to double check with to resend?
My understanding is that once they do the registration on the system does send them back something confirming that they've registered. So this, yeah, so this list, we definitely have it. This is the one we're using basically to give the appointments, not the per hour appointments, but it's a per day slot. And these emails are going out. They started going out yesterday. We're going to send another batch out this afternoon, and it will be up until at least end of next week, most likely until end of next week.
I have a question for Dr. Hatem, please, and it's from Saifuddin Hani, and it's regarding the Sputnik vaccine. He says, regarding students who took the Sputnik vaccine, we didn't receive our second dose, and it seems they were told that it's a one-dose vaccine. However, all sources, including the Egyptian Health Ministry, inform that Sputnik is a two-dose vaccine. Can you clarify, please, on this issue?
No, Sputnik has, there are several vaccines which are called Sputnik. We have the Sputnik V, which is the well-known one. It has 2 doses vaccine. It's one, and then after 3 weeks, the other. There are other Sputnik vaccines who is 1 dose. But when the clinic asked me that the Ministry of Health told them that the Sputnik vaccine, which they used here in the AUC, is only 1 dose vaccine. It's like the Johnson & Johnson. I told them they must give a proof of this. We must have a letter from the Ministry of Health saying that this Sputnik vaccine is a 1 dose vaccine, because I don't know which Sputnik vaccine he received.
So what do you advise the student to do?
No, I advise the clinic to ask the Ministry of Health, the authorities of Ministry of Health, to send them an official letter that the Sputnik, which they gave to the AUC, is a 1 dose vaccine. And then he will know that it is 1 dose.
Okay. Another question from Hatem. From a pregnant international student. I made inquiry at the school clinic where I was told that the vaccine is contraindicated in pregnancy, so I was advised against it. I've gotten a medical examination, but I would like to know if I'm still permitted to use the AUC buses based on my condition. Will I still take the weekly antigen testing?
No, this is for Shireen. Actually, pregnancy is not a contraindication outside Egypt, but the Egyptian Drug Authority up to now is contraindicating the use of any vaccine to pregnant women and to those who are less than 18 years of age. But for using of the buses and the antigen, it is for Shireen Sheikh.
Okay, Shireen.
Yes, that person will still have to undergo the testing and will not be able to ride the buses.
Okay. I know it's confusing. It's a lot of information. Students under 18 will not be able to take the bus since they're not getting the vaccine.
Up until they're 18, which is hopefully a few weeks or months away. And there's this Wivel deal that's posted on the website that they can use up until they can be back on our system.
Okay. And the weekly antigen test grants access to campus. Yes.
Yes, it does.
Okay. Provost Abdurrahman, we keep getting questions again on the possibility of shifting to online classes once more. One question regards the general situation of the pandemic in Egypt and whether this is on the table. That is, you've mentioned already that if there is a case in a class, that class would shift to online teaching until all members of the class test positive. Are there other situations? We keep getting this question again.
Until all members of the class are tested negative, they will continue online. After they test negative, they will come back to campus. Yes. So if there is a positive case in a class, that class will shift to online. They will be asked to do a test. After all of them are tested negative, they will come back to campus.
Is AUC going at any point to require that everybody gets 2 doses of the vaccines that require 2 doses? Is this going to be mandatory as well?
For your own safety, you have to get the 2 doses. What is the point of getting 1 dose and not getting the second? So for your own safety, you please take the 2 doses.
And who's going to be funding the weekly antigen testing for those who aren't able to get vaccinated?
The university's negotiators. Shireen, would you like to talk about this? I can talk about it, Shireen.
Go ahead, and I'll add if there's any mistake.
Shireen is in negotiation now with vendors to get a discounted price on the testing. People will pay for the testing. We are currently considering the people who cannot afford to pay the test, and we will see what can we do to this. But no one will not get access to campus because he or she cannot afford to pay for the test.
Now, one question is worried about people complying with all those guidelines and regulations. Some of them will be enforced by the institution itself, but some of it will have to be with, us among ourselves enforcing it. Will there be a way, to avoid conflict? Is there going to be a way to report colleagues or students who do not adhere? What guidelines are there? If you're on the bus and there are people on the bus who are not wearing the mask, or whatever, in other situations on campus where there are people who are not adhering, especially I think the masking is the thing that's most left to the individuals. Is there a way to report this? Are there guidelines for how to deal with this? And I think the provost can take this one.
Sure. When I look at that issue, definitely we can enforce it. We can ask our security people to go around and, and report people. We can ask people to report people, but that's not what we really want. What we want is we want everyone to protect himself or herself and others. So if everyone takes responsibility of himself and protecting others, then we as a community will be safe. That's why I really encourage you all to help us to continue to open the campus and to go back to normal teaching and learning. We miss that. We miss the normal teaching inside our classroom. Our students miss their interaction with their faculty outside the classroom and their interaction with their colleagues outside of the classroom. Zoom is not really the right way to teach and learn. So in order to do this, protect yourself, protect your colleague, and wear a mask.
I had a question and now I lost it. Yes, students who live on campus in the residence, maybe Vice President Dina Borai, you can answer this one. Students who live on the dorms,
Yes.
What precautions are they going to be required to take? Will they need to do the mandatory self-check? Or will they need to, what precautions or what guidelines apply to those who are resident on campus?
I want to echo what the provost said, that I mean, the prime message for people who are living together would be taking care of each other. I mean, as far as possible, it's very hard for us to police everyone. We have about 600 students in the dorms. So we do expect that if they're in the kitchen, for example, together, they be careful with each other and wear masks. As I've said, we've not isolated, I don't want to say that. We've made sure that the unvaccinated are in a different location from the students who are vaccinated. We have closed the lounges and the common spaces, not because we're being draconian, but again for the safety, so that there isn't large congregations inside. But of course, there are very nice gardens within the residences that they can use. So, I mean, it's the community spirit that we expect. Again, I echo what the provost said. We expect everybody protects each other, and us mandating and rules, we expect masking indoors, but as you know, it's impossible for us to police 600 students. So doing our best. And of course, there will be the mandatory testing for the unvaccinated. And and we do make sure that if students report that they, whether they were in contact with others, that same system that we had, it is going to be followed. And if students get COVID, but I mean, God forbid, we will take care of them as we have done before. So,
and for the students who reside on campus, do they need to do the resident students in the dorms, do they need to do the mandatory daily self-check?
Well, the daily self-check is to get in, but they're in. So they don't do that as far as I know. No, they don't.
Okay.
That check is for those who are not residing in our residences. That's why they need it, but not on the campus themselves. Yes.
Let me rephrase that question, Dr. Dina.
Yes.
If a student in the dorms on campus feel that he or she has symptoms, what are they supposed to do? What does our guideline say about that?
Exactly, that they do have to report, Provost Ihab. Yes, I'm sorry, I wasn't clear. That whenever you have symptoms, whether or not you're on or off campus in the student residences, you must report the red face so that you don't become a risk for others. Thank you.
When could students expect to get details about the first year program? Coming students.
Right now, you mean you're talking about the orientation, the 3-day orientation?
Yes.
We are finalizing the 3-day orientation, and they should be getting it as of Sunday, inshallah. And it's it's been scheduled that they should all appear on the first day of orientation on the 31st of August, where we welcome them. Amina.
Thank you very much. Associate Vice President Sarah Rifat, there's a question on the work from home policy and when we should expect an update for the policy to be published.
Actually, the policy is already on the website. In addition to a very long list of Q&A about the regulations of the policy, how to apply, the approval process, positions that are required to be physically present, flexibility that we can offer to positions that can work remotely if ad hoc cases or special circumstances appeared. In addition to this, we will be announcing very soon, early next week, awareness sessions that HR will be conducting starting 29th of August for staff to join and ask questions. And it will be another session of Zoom Q&A.
Okay, thank you very much. Now also, as we've all noticed, there are some departments that will have to offer classes on Saturdays. I'm sorry, I might have been disconnected for a minute there. The question has to do with classes that are going to be running on Saturdays in some departments. Are academic staff going to be required to work on Saturdays as well, to come on Saturdays since classes are scheduled then? Or is this something that is left to each academic department to deal with?
I can take that, Dr. Amina. This is left for every academic department to decide. They don't have to come, but if the department decide that they have to come, then arrangements has to be made, and we will happy to accommodate.
Okay, very good. I see that we are almost out of time. We have 2 minutes left. Perhaps I will turn to the Provost, Dr. Ihab Abdurrahman, if you have any final words to share with the community. I know we have a few questions in the Q&A that we didn't get a chance to answer, so these will be dealt with in the frequently asked questions on the website as well. But perhaps, Dr. Abdurrahman, you can leave us with a few words before we end our session today.
Dr. Amina, thank you very much for moderating the session today. That was a very important session, and I hope the questions and the answers actually help the community to understand what will happen in the for 2021. We are very excited to have everyone back on campus. We're doing all what we can to ensure the safety and the health of our people. And please, again, protect yourself, protect your colleague, and wear a mask.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. At the end of our campus conversation today, I thank all our attendees. We had over 100 attendees, and I'm sure many of the community members will be watching the recording. I thank the Provost, Dr. Ihab Abdulrahman, Vice President Shireen Shaker, Vice President Dr. Dina Borai, our University Counselor, Dr. Ashraf Hatem, and Senior Associate Vice President Sarah Rifat for participating in today's campus conversation. I think there's another conversation scheduled before classes begin, but I look forward to meeting most of you on campus early September. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.